Yo, that should help things out a little bit. Welcome, welcome. Sorry, everybody. This has been a nasty, nasty day. We're on the laptop now, which is running a very old version of the stream overlay from a few months ago. So you will not be able to see everything, and my microphone profile might be a little different as well. Like just what I sound like might be a little different. It's a bit unfortunate that we've had to do this. I don't really know what the solution is other than new graphics card, but that's going to be probably a little expensive. And on an older PC, is it worth really doing it? I don't really know. I guess graphics cards are pretty compatible. I could buy a new one and then just wait until I've got a new PC. The CPU is now the bottleneck though. Thankfully, it's all tax deductible, so it's not a huge deal, but it's you know, it's not great either. Sounds all right. Well, that's good. Welcome, welcome. I'm looking down now at the chat because now you're on my laptop, below my eye level. Insignia, this is loading up for like the first time here, so this will take a little while. In the meantime, why don't we could take a look at some graphics cards just to see what they cost. We were looking at them yesterday. Oh man, my laptop's not enjoying the heat there. Gosh. Like M-Wave maybe? M-Wave. Graphics card. Oh boy. And we've got not all of our everything is in the wrong spot now. All right, back we go. Here I go buying again. Hey Daisuke. If I like Noita, I haven't played it. It's like a Souls-like top-down, like almost isometric thing, right? I haven't played it. I see it all the time marketed to me on Steam, though. I see it all the time. $16.50 for $225. That's actually reasonable. You know? RTX 40. I mean, that's very expensive. Let's go. Let's start with bottom of the barrel. I just need something stronger than my 960 to start with. We can spend maybe 300 or 400 on it. Maybe. Hey, Neocoder. How's it going? Hey, everyone. Sorry to do all of this. Sorry to be this way. RTX 3050? I mean, that's 400. That's not the worst thing in the world. $399. I really don't want to have to spend 400 on a part that's not like a part that I would buy. RTX 3050 sounds like a lot though. That sounds like it's pretty decent. AMD graphics card. You can do PC part picker. I just the places they'll recommend that I purchase them from will probably be US places. It might be US only. I'm not sure. How do we do? This looks promising. Yeah, Amazon in Australia, it's not necessarily like I don't really use Amazon here. It's only sometimes. Maybe PC part pick is the way to go. I don't know. We can have a look. We're looking at Gapoos. $30.60 for $289. Where is the country picker? Not United States. That's too good. That's too cheap. All right. Ah, yes. $439. That looks much better. Ah, yes. Much closer to my expectations. All right. Let's bring the price up. I want to spend at least, I think 250 is minimum. 1630. That's probably too low at this point. What's like an average salary? Do you know what? I don't even know anymore. It depends on what industry. Everything's all over the place. People earn sums of money that is so like all over the place that it's hard to even say what the average is. If someone said they were earning like 90,000, I would say that's fine. As long as they weren't like expecting to live in like a big house or anything around Sydney. If you're earning like over 120, that's pretty good. But some people are on like 200 plus and it's like, yeah, no problem. I was looking at the 3060, wasn't I? Or the 3050? They're not cheap, man. On the Radeon side, what's decent? What's like the equivalent of like a RTX 30 series? Like Radeon RX 6K? I don't like Nvidia. I do like Nvidia, but someone was recommending AMD. I'm happy to get a 30 series. I just don't know. This 30 series would be like, how many years ago did these come out? The latest 6000s are like the 3060. Okay. 3060 is equivalent to 16. Oh, okay. 660. 6600. Yeah. Look, honestly, like I'm happy. I'm happy to use Nvidia. I'm happy to use Nvidia cards because I have been for my entire, career. I mean, this looks like it's fine. And what are the size of these cards? They just fit in a normal bay. They're not, the RTX ones aren't like special, are they? I mean, I'm probably looking to spend around that. And then we'll just go by rating. Yeah, I mean, it's back where we started pretty much. That's the best rated card in the price range, but $439, man. Oh, goodness. Well, the problem is, okay, for those of you who are just tuning in, we've had some pretty bad crashes recently. Just like my PC's been blue screening because while I'm trying to run OBS and the stream, something's going weird that is just causing a driver error that's completely blue screening. Basically, it's like if I try to, if it tries to reset the encoder, it'll just crash. And we installed new drivers and it still didn't work. That card is like not new. The card is a 970. Hey, Sharky. But is that AUD or USD? AUD is different dollar price. So for me, like if you multiply it by like, yeah, another 50%, that's typically what you pay in Australia. Yeah. Do I have an integrated GPU? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're talking about a 10-year-old card here, so like it's probably time I get a new one. But 439 is not that nice, unfortunately. 429 for the Zotac. Zotac's pretty good. At M-Wave, 429. Yeah, the Australian dollar sucks right now. RTX 2070. We can have a look. Let's have a look. I didn't see anything. If I crank the price down, I don't think they're going to show up. This is the 30 series. There's nothing in the 20 series that they're selling anymore. It must be that they're out of, like... They're not really... Maybe like a used card. But not on PC Part Picker. Oh, did I really? Yeah, well, that's my fault, isn't it? That's me being a doofus, huh? But I also can't choose the 2K series. Are they here? Oh, okay, okay. I just needed to do a bit more. Bit more clicking around. Oh, but they still don't show up. Am I missing something? Do I need to press a button to submit? Looking at just the GPU for now, but it's not out of the question for me to buy a new PC outright. I already bought the RAM, though it's DDR4. Yeah, it's looking like, you know, you're gonna spend this, the cheapest 12 gigabyte card is the Zotac at $429. DDR4 is one with the best songs. Okay. Yeah, it might be death by 1,000 cuts if I buy individual components rather than just a brand new PC. Yeah. Can you buy... I've heard that there's a way you can buy like industrial graphics cards for cheap. Yeah. It's tough. Yeah, because I know that if I wait, I probably should be getting a used graphics card for now. My i5 is still the bottleneck. Yeah. It's mostly, look, all this is I just don't want to get blue screens anymore. I was happy with the computer that I was running with the specs I had it at, assuming that it didn't crash all the time. But it just started this week and I don't know what to do about it. So this is really more of a question of like what is practical rather than like what is good. Have I checked memory? Yeah. I mean, I did just put a brand new dual channel 32 gig setup in there. But It was crashing before that. Can your power supply unit handle it? Don't buy used. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah, we already checked the dumps. It was an Nvidia thing. It was like the issue was that the GPU was getting overloaded. The encoder was getting overloaded, trying to output 1080p at 2.8K megabits, and that was causing when the graphics card was overloaded, they would try to reset the encoder, and that would crash the computer. So we could try to output at a lower bit rate and try to have that not happen, but I don't know. What do you reckon, pals? Is it worth it? Try to get a channel sponsorship. That'd be fun. I think those sponsorships, though, they don't just give you cards. Does my laptop have a decent GPU? Yeah, you're looking at it. You're looking at what the output's outputting, what the laptop's outputting. It's a 1660 Ti. It's better than a 960, but not that much better. Do I have an older version of OBS? No, I'm using a new version. The latest, I think. I think it was just that the GPU running the game and the stream, being as old as it is just more likely to fail. I don't know. Capture card into the laptop to stream through it, but work from your desktop. I think it should be almost the other way around. I think I should be working from my laptop, and my desktop's just, well, if I'm working from the desktop and it's not handling OBS, then it's more likely to be fine. Whoa, that was very loud. Thank you so much for the sub. Yeah. If the PC can handle Insignia on its own, then I guess I could just stream from the laptop, but I need to buy an external capture card because I only have a PCIe capture card at the moment. It's I didn't realize I get stuck like this, you know. Anyway, let's not spend forever on it. The game is running, I think. Hey, that's very loud sound effects. Shush you. Oh, that didn't save. That's annoying, but to be expected. Look, I have a brother, Universal, Pat. Pat is out of town at the moment, and he has a desktop that he probably isn't using because he's not in the country, that's at my parents' place. I probably could ask him if I could borrow the GPU that's in that. Was it a shader compilation thing that destroyed the GPU? I just hit the wheat and it compiled a shader really quick. I wonder if that was a thing. Anyway. Well, that's not right. Whoops. That needed to be an absolute check, not a flat check. I know what I'm doing here. Ledge. And he leaves his doors unlocked, and I own a balaclava. It's my parents' house, so technically he's technically in my room, but not in my room. He's not there at all right now. He was technically in my room, so all is fair. All right. I can ask him. Let me ask him now. He's probably finished up at work at the moment. Otherwise, I've got a GTX 460 in an old PC sitting at home. Or I think it's a 470 from 2008 We could use that. That's only been sitting around for 15 years. It's only 15 years old, guys. All right. So 0.5, 0.05. Oh man, this is really hot. So right ledge, left ledge, negative. I got it wrong. Nice. Nice. Cool. If you check in HW info and your CPU GPU is not like melting, I think trying an older version of OBS would possibly fix your issue. Do you know what I could do also? I could just not use the GPU, the NVIDIA encoder. Just use CPU based encoder. It'll be slower. My whole computer will be slower, but at least it won't crash maybe. The game frame rate might be a bit worse. This has really like killed my momentum for the day. It's really bothering me. I just don't know how much like I'm gonna have to spend to fix this issue. I don't want to have to spend anything. You know? I just want to get back to making my game. It could be. I mean, it could be, but I don't know how do I ensure that that's not the problem? I don't know. Oh gosh, how am I going to find this file? Okay. This is what I was working on yesterday. It's come up quite nicely, hasn't it? I only spent another like 20 minutes on it. I think it looks quite cute. GPU mem test. Wait, could the GPU has memory, does it? I know that sounds crazy that I'm saying that. I don't know enough about computer hardware. I have gaps. Can the GPU have corrupted memory? VRAM. Yeah. Like, can it be the GPU's memory's fault? Right. So not necessarily my RAM, but the video RAM. Right. Well, it's a 10-year-old card, so sounds like if something was gonna go, maybe that's what's gonna go. The issue I have not tried blowing on it, but if you guys want, I can pull it out now. It's not running the stream right now. How's eBay in Australia? It's okay. For the people having the issue with OBS, everything was just like disappearing and giving no error. No, what was happening was my video encoder was being overrun. Like it had to reset the encoder because the GPU wasn't being able to keep up with the output. And when it tried to reset the encoder, that would crash the whole thing. Do I find time to play games besides coding my own? Is being a game dev make playing games not so fun? That's a good question. Look, I do play games. I try to make enough space in my day that I have like at least an hour of like doing whatever I want. So like I managed to hit master in Street Fighter 6 last year towards the end of the year. That took a lot of time. Probably more time than I should have been spending, but I was able to keep doing my work, during that time. So you can make time, but the question then of like, does it kill the fun? Look, I wouldn't say that it kills the fun. Oh, hello. Hang on. My driver's gone funny. Okay, buddy. Okay, we understand. Okay. Okay. All right. Just a second. Oh, did that fix it? Okay, we're back. Morse code stream. That's it. Okay. So, like, to be honest with you, I'm the kind of person that is a little bit like that all the time anyway. I'm a little bit analytical. And, watching a movie or playing a game doesn't really take the fun out of it for me. Sometimes it does, but not because I make the thing. Just because I'm the kind of person who likes to get a little bit, I like to get kind of in there, and I don't really like to switch my brain off all the time. Or if something tickles my brain in the wrong way, it makes me upset. Like I can't really let go of that. And I was like that all the time. Before I started making games, I was very critical of specific things in games. So probably not really. Like I played, okay, so I'm making like a game that has platforming mechanics and you unlock abilities. Mario Wonder is a game where you unlock abilities and it's a core platformer. So you could say like, is Mario Wonder an example of a kind of game that would be ruined for me because I'm making a game so similar to it? And the answer to that is no. Like I really enjoyed that game. There were times where I would learn something while I was watching it, like, oh, they've done this and I can see how they would have done that, and oh, I should do that. Stuff like that does pop up into my head, but it's not like immersion breaking stuff. It's not like I can't enjoy the game. When everything's working, like when a game is doing its thing and it's doing it well, you can't help but just absorb into it. You can't help it. When the music's playing and the particles are popping and you're running through the space, like you don't think, oh, look at that shader. Sometimes you do, but only when something really, really interesting is happening that you've never seen before. Like there were a couple of novel graphics things that I would have picked up on and gone, oh, that's interesting. But most of the time I'm just like, I'm playing Mario, I do get like a little, like I said, I was always critical. So it's not, yeah. It's not that big of a deal. Do you know, I was looking at these tiles on my phone, like watching the stream back, and they did not look good. last night. But that was quite early on. I don't know if I've done better since then. I did a bit of work on this, like a tile, a more like cobblestone variation. So the idea is that, like, you know, you would have your tiles like this, and then at some point you would go into this variation, and then you would repeat it a bunch of times, and then you would exit it, and then you would do this. How good's that? So I might create more blocks here or something like that, or make the cobblestone sort of come towards the camera. I'm really... One thing that I try to be mindful of while I'm working on this game, particularly like in the new year and stuff, it's like, it's so hard. It's so hard to come back to this stuff and feel so confident about doing a better job of it and not want to go and fix it all, you know? Oh, Natel. I think I've been calling you Nate LSSB. Natel, yeah, that's actually probably the biggest thing. I find that the one thing that making this kind of game has done that's negative, it's not that I can't enjoy, how do I put it? When I play games that are very, very similar to mine, made by teams that are very small, like indie games, I do have, like, there is like an ego thing in my brain that's like, I cringe at the differences between their game and mine and how much worse mine is for whatever reason. It's just an insecurity thing. It's like, oh no, I'm not doing this as well as they are. Oh no, like, do people want to play this kind of game instead of mine? Like, it's like a protective thing that I get anxious about. So what I notice that I've tended to do in the last 5 years is play way, way fewer games like mine. I just tend not to play them, which is not good because you actually lose a sense of what people are interested in and even what you're interested in. So I think it's important to not lose sight of like just like what's popular right now and what the industry standard is, and just even like, you know, I think the best developers in this space are very pragmatic about where they reference their work from. Because I'm the kind of person who goes, I'm going to reinvent the wheel every single time. Like every single time, it's like, I want to do a menu. Okay, I will design the menu from scratch. You know, rather than just looking at games and going like, oh, how does menu work in this game? How does the menu work in this game? I'll just clone that one and change the colors a little bit. Do you know what I mean? If you find something that does exactly what you want and you just copy it, you basically skip all of the usability issues with your own thing. And I do, you know, obviously nothing that I do is like totally original, but the extent that you reinvent the wheel does give you more responsibility to make it right, and that takes longer. So you know, with the tile sets, for example, I probably should have been more pragmatic about how I do my tiles, because I've always wanted to add more story into them. I've always wanted them to feel more alive. But I was stuck on 16 by 16 size, and it really hurt me for a long time. And I got really good at like certain, you know, getting around certain problems with 16 by 16. But like, I probably didn't need to do that anyway. I probably just could have just watched other games and just copied how they did theirs more aggressively. Just been less protective about it. Just like make fewer assumptions. Because also there is an extent to which you lose sense of like what the lowest standard is. That's actually really scary, Because you think, like for me, what I noticed happened to me a fair bit is that my interpretation of what the minimum minimum level of quality is also drifted up by accident. So games that do well, like Vampire Survivors, you know, in my head, before that game came out, I would have been like, oh, there's no way. Like, I can't make a game that doesn't do XYZ because it won't succeed. And then you see a game that doesn't really care about certain things and it does really well, and you go, oh no, have I been placing too much emphasis on, say, graphics or whatever? So that's another thing you got to be really careful of, is losing your sense of reality or like of the market can go both ways. You can over-respect. You know, you can say, oh, it needs to be really, really good, or really, really like this, you know. So it's important to play games if you make games. That's not a meme. I mean, it is a meme, but you should try to also respect the reality of that. Like, it really is important to play games for research when you make them.
Mom, I'm gonna be a game dev one day. This is research.
That's real. There is a strange relationship between player expectations based on genre convention and offering something completely new, right? Like when we just say, well, what's important is that it's fun. That's totally true. But then it's like a confidence thing. Part of it is like almost sales. Like, how do you convince people that they should be open to trying your game? You know? Because if it's similar to other games, that's an easy way. You're like, oh, you should play my game. It's like this game. If it's different, then you have a different proposition to make. Sorry, brother responded. Oh, he said I'm welcome to take it. He's got a 2080 Ti at home. He won't be using it until March. Okay, maybe it'll be time to maybe we can upgrade to a new PC in March when he needs it back, and in the meantime we can use it. That'd be nice. Have I already touched on having character customization versus a recognizable character that everyone plays as? Hey Marissa, that's a great question. I'd be happy to answer that one. So, man, I would love to just answer questions today. Maybe I'll try to do that while I'm working. I need to get comfortable so I'm I'm not going to get too tired. My bro, he's younger. He's 4 years younger. He's just in New Zealand right now working, so he won't be using the graphics card. So, character customization. I think this is one of those questions that it's not really that... I feel like if you know what your game is, then that question will probably... It melts away pretty quickly, right? Because whether or not there's customization in the game is dependent on what it is that the player... What it is, the experience you're trying to create for the player. If the character has like a deep story and they have a voice and you want them to feel like their own person, then you don't do customization, right? Like characters from Final Fantasy. Cloud Strife's, his look is part of who he is. Hey, thank you so much for the rate. Did we get rated? Sorry, I might have missed that. TYO Moonfall, thanks for the sub. Did we get rated? Welcome. Oh, you're just here. Okay, hi. So, yeah, like characters who have an identity that's really strong, you typically, you would limit the customization so that you could still have the player identify with that character. On the flip side, if you want the player to feel like they are the character, right, then you offer customization. So we're listening to the Stardew Valley soundtrack right now. Stardew Valley is an example. It's a great example of a game where character customization makes perfect sense. Because even though you're playing a character, who owns a farm or whatever, it's kind of like your farm, right? Like the player... You're not really role-playing someone who's got a personality and an identity. You're embedding your personality and your identity into the game. So that's the way to think about it. Hey, I just realized I'm looking off the screen. I'm going to flip this camera. 1 second. Let me see if I can find this thing. That's fine. That looks good. That's the correct orientation. This, I don't even think the camera... Okay. This. Transform. Flip. Shrink. That'll do. Much better. Is the demo out on Steam? It's not for this game. The Steam page is coming in a little while, a couple months. Blue screens. Blue screens mostly have been happening because of a GPU issue. I think my GPU is just on the way out, really. It might just be dying, so that's why. Okay. So might be worth dipping this a little. I really like this soundtrack. It's so comfortable. Such a comfy soundtrack. He really nailed it. Music has a special spot in games, If you have great, like excellent music, you could take a game that's kind of meh and make it feel like so good. Because it transforms a space into somewhere more lived in. Still on Unity, yeah. Okay, so This is all pretty good. Yeah, music helps you make memories. Exactly. Do I make my own music? I do. I do write my own music for the game, but I don't expect to be writing the music for the whole game. Mostly because I just know somebody, a composer, would be able to do a better job than me. That's it. I'm smart enough to know that I'm not that guy. And even if I was that guy, or even if I could be that guy, I don't think that I have the time to put into the soundtrack for this game, given the production quality of everything else that's going into it. So I just don't have the space to learn and to grow into that role as the composer. I would love to. Some nights I sit down with my keyboard and I just play stuff, and it makes me like, I get really confident about the idea of writing the music for the game. And sometimes I even listen to old tracks that I've written for the game, and I go, wow, man, I could do this. Like I get confident. And then I think to myself, like, but could I really do it for like the whole game? Probably not. And it wouldn't be like, the melodies are good, the compositions are good, but I'm not a producer, so I don't really have like the ability to master the tracks the way that I would need to. Somebody else can do that. Like the recordings and the, mixing. I just don't have that skill set. And it's quite technical. It's not that different from pixel art in that you just need a lot of experience doing it to know the tricks and the techniques. Saves the Queen. Thank you so much for all you do. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. See ya. Yeah. I've been watching this guy on TikTok actually. He has these, he does like synth stuff, and he makes his own VSTs, and they're really, really good. They're so impressive. I get like pulled into like a feeling just listening to like little things that he writes. Maybe I can play you something. It's probably not the right way to do this, but like.
I'm sorry, that is so sick. Why is nobody doing this?
He does this like lots of different things, like little side chain ideas, and it's really annoying how complicated some of this stuff is.
Yeah, so I realized I don't think I've ever heard. Dude, why is no one talking about this? Look, say you have a melody like.
Not that. He's so good. It's as it like music producers, there's like dark magic. There's so many layers of things inside of that like he's got some grain in there and some fuzz and some reverb and some delay and there's some panning. It's so much going on, but it's all he kind of like, you almost build engines of sound, it's Nest Acoustics is the channel on TikTok. Let me see if I can grab this. Nest Acoustics. Oh, must I? I'll continue as a guest, thank you. Yeah. He is... It's just like genius level stuff, but like he doesn't really... I don't think he makes a lot... Well, maybe he does. I don't know how much music he makes, but... I can't remember what I first found on him. Like, look at this. He works on a CRT. Yeah, he uses serum. He's so good at it. He's so good at that. Whatever that is, that nostalgia, dramatic, heavy thing. Let me see if I can find this. His most popular stuff is not pinned, I don't think. I do like this though.
Why is no one talking about this?
Listen to this.
Duration to spice it up. So you can literally play in your chops and experiment with different rhythms. Dude.
Oh, it's kind of like this. It's almost like that. There was a point in like 2012 when like Zed just started to like take off. That crossed with like what Porter Robinson does, and there's this thing, this like EDM producer thing that maybe I missed. Maybe I got turned off like EDM around like the last 10 years, so I sort of don't know what kind of music gets played or made. Yeah, Porter and Madeon. It's something there that's like, oh, I love that thing. I saw Porter actually a couple of months ago. Yeah. Hyperpop's, it's cool. It's really cool stuff. Anyway. Yeah. I saw his last show of his most recent tour was played in Sydney, and I went and saw it. Actually, there's a TikTok that Porter put out, or a video, about a guy who memorized he had like a pad, like an input thing, that he was playing samples from one of his songs to, that he was like wearing while he was playing it. It's like a gimmick in his show. And someone from the audience was like, I know how to play that thing because I figured out the button mappings, like which keys were mapped to which button. So will you let me play your song for you? And he was like, sure, you get one chance. And the guy did it. Yeah, the launch pad. I was at that show. I was in the crowd for that. So that was fun. I'm using more than that. He's like 50 pixels tall. So maybe you could call that 64. Yeah, dude, I would love to collaborate with Porter Robinson. That would be like a literal dream if that ever happened. I would probably just say career dream complete. Like if there could be like a Porter track at the end of Insignia, like right before the final boss. You know those moments in like games where, you know, it's like the emotions at like maximum level, you know, running up the castle steps to confront the final boss kind of thing. Having there be like a music sequence. Oh, that'd be amazing.
Bye.
See ya. Where are you going?
Tutorial.
Oh, okay. Bye-bye. Hang on one sec. Okay. I would like to... maybe get some more green in here. That was my wife. I'm cute with her? Oh, thank you. I don't know. I worry sometimes that I'm too... what's the word? Too... hovery? Not hovery, but like... I check in with her a lot. I think sometimes she wishes that I was a bit more like, just let her do her thing, even if the thing that she's doing is not like a good idea. She goes to bed too late, man. She goes to bed way too late, and she gets up so tired. And I want to respect the fact that, you know, she's an adult and she can do what she wants, but like at the same time, it's so hard to watch someone. And also, like, I struggle with sleep. It's so hard to not want to help, you know? Be like, hey, like, why don't we, you know? So, you know, part of it is a respect thing. Like, obviously I respect her and I want her to not think of me as like the police. But, oh, it's hard sometimes. When you love someone. Wife bad stream. Oh, I'm not like upset at her over it. It's not like, it's just something that I have to navigate. It's not like a complaint. My mum's a bit like that. She was always a bit, you know, a bit, not controlling, it's not the right word, but like someone who's a bit neurotic about the people they care about. That's probably the word. Oh no, Pen Paul. If you can laugh, it works. Everything's fine if you can laugh about it. You've got a dog who gets mad at me if you gets mad at you if you don't go to bed by 9:30. They're like, it's bedtime. When can we go to bed? I get that. My in-laws, their dogs are like that too. They get upset if it's like getting a bit late and they're not being put to bed. Whoa! Thank you so much. Wow, thank you so much for the sub. Yeah, respect is it's so important in a relationship. If you don't respect the other person, like and you can think that you're respecting them and then realize later that like, well, do you you know, like, are you showing them that respect, or are you like, if you're acting in service of somebody else's interest and they're fighting with you over it, that's a sign. That's a sign that you probably need to step back. care and respect can be different things. It's a strange. I never really understood that most of my life, because it's not how my parents raised me. But you know. Oh, Penpal, I thought you meant pet names, and I'm like, I call my wife pet names constantly. All we do is we don't even call each other our own names. But you mean like call each other names? Yeah, like swearing. No, we don't do that. That's really bad. That's contempt. That's like they call them like the 4 horsemen of like relationship death. Like if you resent your partner, it's probably not a good sign. Yeah, no, I don't call her names. Well, yeah, that's the other thing. It's like it's a fine line. You got to find a balance that works. You can't just apply one rule to everybody. Everyone's got their own thing. Relationships are complicated. What's hard is when you have a relationship where the communication, like in the past, we've had troubles where like if you're in like a really stressful situation and the communication starts to break down, and then you start to rely on some of those little shortcuts, like the little pet names or not necessarily pet names, but things that require trust in order to understand. You know, sometimes like you could joke about something and it's fine if you trust each other, but the same joke, if you're struggling, doesn't land, and it cause more problems than you had in the first place. That can be tough. Like I typically, you know, humor is something that I use a lot to get through. But you can easily step on a nerve if you don't have if you're not sensitive. Yeah, and especially when there's like tension in the relationship, you don't know when it's going to be taken the wrong way. So it's kind of like you have to really make sure that you're on the same page. Another one is like conflict resolution styles. Man, Cryptidae and I are so different in that area. Just like the way that the things that we need when we're under stress can be sometimes so different. And I never got that until her. In past relationships, you know, I would get into arguments or fights or whatever with my partner for whatever reason, and then assume that like, well, if I'm not satisfied with where things are at, that's because we haven't talked about them enough, and we need to continue talking about them until the argument's finished, because I don't want to be mad at you and I don't want you to be mad at me, so like let's fix it. But like some people don't have the stamina for that. Some people just need time. And I had never really appreciated that until I met my now wife. Yeah, especially like we're both people who like dark humor. We both do it. And I can even be sensitive too, like if, you know, about little things. Like for example, the idea that I don't have a real job. Like I know my wife doesn't think that, and I've never, you know, it's never been like an aspect of our relationship where it's been a problem what I do. But like if she were to make that joke and do it in a time where we were arguing or something like that, that might hurt me. Because like on some level there is probably something there that's a little You know, she could make that joke if she wanted today and it wouldn't hurt at all. But like in the right context, that could really, that could hurt me. But I'm pretty happy with us. We, you know, I had a relationship that was quite long lasting. Like it was a quite long-term relationship. Not long distance, but like long-term, before I met my wife. And that relationship was really hard. And the ways that it was hard, I couldn't, like, it was like, man, like, what am I doing here? Like, what are we doing here? And then, like, when I met my wife, like, you know, it's not like we had completely separate problems or no problems. We still had problems. And sometimes they were even similar problems to the ones that I had with my ex. But, like, something was different where I felt like I had to make sure that I wasn't, like, sometimes there just comes a point where like you just find a person who you care about enough that you want to learn more about them and you want to learn to get things right in a way that's not toxic rather than getting your way or just bailing out and finding a different, you know, finding someone who's easier. Like, I don't want something easier, you know, when it comes to like the relationship I have with my wife. Like, and you know, honestly, it's gotten easier because I've been so, well, we've both been so like grateful for what we have together. You know, if you really value what you have, then it's not so disposable. And I think that comes from respect. You know, if you really, really love the person and you really respect who they are and you're both capable of demonstrating to each other that you feel that way, you know, that you're prepared to work. I think that was maybe the big difference. With my ex, it was like, I felt like she kind of would give up pretty quickly, like truly give up. And then it would kind of like heal itself a little bit if we just like took time apart. But then, you know, you're not making ground if you're with someone who you just kind of like argue with and then stop arguing with and get over it. And then like, it doesn't resolve. You just sort of move on. That's not really progress. If you just like agree to not talk about things. Yeah. All right, I don't want to over detail this, and I think I'm at risk of doing that. I can see it already. I've put too much detail in some of these areas, but that's because I'm enjoying chatting with you guys. Yeah, that's the thing. Like asking yourself in the middle of it, not at the end, but in the middle. Hang on a second. Am I actually in the right here, or like am I contributing to the problem too? Or like maybe we both have a point. Maybe what this person needs is, you know, for me to just take a step back and we can continue. Like it's going to be okay. But right now they might need this, you know, or whatever. Like having the presence of mind to, because you care so much, to be able to just, you know, adjust your behavior. That's important. Even if it's just to notice, like, hey, maybe they're acting angry, but they're feeling scared, you know, in this moment. And so I don't need to be angry back, or I don't need to, whatever. Yeah, I can get quite like just in general when I'm in an argument with people, like I can get quite I go into this mode where I get quite analytical and quite defensive, and I start sort of I start like counterattacking a little, and like in a relationship that's not great. Not always anyway, because it's sometimes, you know, the source of the problem can be a miscommunication. So winning doesn't really, you don't really win even if you win in that space. So even just knowing like, hey, like I'm even if I feel like I'm being attacked, and even if I am, maybe I can de-escalate this by listening, you know? But that respect takes a long, like you do have to, the other person does have to earn that, and you have to earn it from them too. It's not just like unconditional respect. And not every relationship works, even even marriages, you know? So try to be realistic and practical as well. I'm not saying you should try to make it work no matter what. This has been Marriage Counseling Advice by Adam C. Yunus. Come for the pixel art. Stay for the counseling. Is your marriage on the rocks? Let's draw those rocks. Are those rocks cobblestones? How does the light reflect off them? Hey, Joe. Happy little marriage. All right. Thank you so much for the new follow, Liam. All right, I think it's time that you and I shared a heart to heart. No, I think it's time I do slopes. We've done the Dark Bob Ross on the stream. That's definitely not unexplored territory. Thanks. I'm just exploring. Basically what this is we were working on yesterday. We were having a look at chapter 1 because I'm putting together a new demo, and I was complaining a little bit about just how like I didn't really like some of these. I didn't really like some of the old tile sets. Did we get the RAM, or did we spend the money on recreational drugs? Who's to say? I spent all the money on the RAM, but I did get the RAM. The problem was, I think it's more of a GPU issue at this point, and not a RAM issue. Like the crashes are GPU based. We're not actually even using my computer right now. We're using my laptop because my computer is blue screening consistently. So we tried to run this stream about 5 times, and we crashed every single time. So I've reverted to my old streaming setup, and I'm going to borrow a graphics card off my brother because my GPU is about 10 years old. It's a GTX 960. So time for a new GPU. But the thing is, it's probably time for a new setup. That's the tough part. I need a new computer. So I'm going to use his GPU for a little bit rather than going out and spending $400 on one. He has a 2080 Ti. Removing the driver and letting it reinstall. I just did an install on it, but I didn't try uninstalling it first. So, good night, Madarkadonk. Good night, Madarkadonk. That's a fun name to say. Well, maybe I'll try that first. The thing is, the only time it crashes is when I'm streaming, so I don't really want it to disrupt the stream too much longer. So, I don't know. Yeah, we figured that out. We figured out why it crashed. So we used Who Crashed, I think it's called. Which is an application that can read the Windows dumps and figure out the source of the problem. And it said that it was a GPU related issue to do with the encoder failing to restart correctly on the GPU, or like a fatal error around trying to restart the encoder. So what's happening is, like, my stream is trying to encode video at like 28 kilobits per second, 2800 kilobits per second, and when I'm doing other stuff, it gets overloaded, so it can't encode fast enough, and then it fails, I think, and then it crashes. Now, it has failed like often. Like, typically what it does is it just freezes the screen and then I come back. Whenever I'd open up open up like VS Code while streaming or something, it would like pause for a little bit. I noticed at the start of the stream. You guys might have noticed that in older streams. But nowadays it'll just crash outright. So I don't know if, like, maybe the card is just on its last legs, you know, maybe it's just dying. The thing is, like, I was able to play, you know, Street Fighter on it, so, and it never crashed playing that. So I don't know if there's some weird, maybe like it's a, I don't know. We were considering maybe it was a VRAM issue. I don't know. A burn-in test? No, I haven't. It could also be an OBS issue, like the NVIDIA. It might not be the GPU, it might be like the encoder. Like the NVIDIA encoder, NVENC. That might be failing. There might be some bug that's got some memory leak or, I don't know, some issue that causes that to fail. That we're only running into now for whatever reason. I don't know. But it's weird that it's super consistent now. Like, it's just happening a lot now. It wasn't happening a lot before. Hey! Sovereign Empire. Sovereign Empire? Thank you so much for the follow. I can try Neocoder, but not right now, this second. Hey, I can't see any redemptions right now because of the way that the stream is set up. So if anyone has redeemed something, I'm really sorry that I haven't seen it. Thanks, Lazy. Cheers for that. Sorry, the stream's just a little bit, you know, the setup's a bit wonky right now. Art redemption yesterday? Yeah, we did that. All right, So I'm going to use the what I call the carbs method of doing slopes. You want to see the carbs method? There is an Sprite plugin that does this, but I'm going to do it my way. So what you do is you grab your tiles that you want to be slopes. Let's use these ones. You bring them over here. You do this. Take away this so that we can see what we're doing. And then you literally one tile at a time shift it down 1 pixel. So like down, down, down. And actually what I like to do is I like to do it 2 at a time. So it's like 2 down. 1 sec though. We might have to use this system. Yeah. So down, down, and then grab 2 more pixels, down, down, and you're creating a little staircase here. 2 more pixels, down, down. There is a plugin that does this that somebody wrote, so this is the slow way of doing it. And it's not perfect. You will get weird stuff, but hopefully the fact that you've got 2 pixels should preserve a lot of the details. There you go. So it's, look, it's not bad. And all you need to do is clean up the line here and you probably won't even notice. So what I would do now is just, what I like to do is just resolve some of these shapes, the internal shapes. Just so that you're getting some of that back. Because otherwise it's not going to look like grass anymore. So you're trying to reintroduce some of these shapes back into this space. But it's hard because you've got less space to do it, really. But as a baseline, it's pretty good. And then, like, you can just copy this. Flip it. So now you got your vertical slopes. I mean, it's not bad, but I would probably try to get a little better than this. Try to bring those shapes back in that feel like they're blades of grass. Otherwise, it just looks like vertical slats? Slants? Vertical bits. But you got to be careful, obviously. But, you know, it's mostly pretty good. Yeah, I typically do gradual slopes. So in something like this, I'll do both. 45 degrees and 22.5. Or whatever you call that. I don't know what actual angle it is. It's not half the angle, but it's half the slope. Hey, Snow Shinobi. So to do that, it just takes a bit longer. It's the same idea. Oh, thank you so much, Opress. I've been doing pixel art since 2013. Let's try it. We'll try the slope, but we're gonna try it now with a different chunking amount. Let's try doing 4 before we skip down instead of 2. So like 1, 2, 3, 4 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I guess we would do 8 and 4. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then go down 4. And then again. So make this like 16. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's pretty easy to measure because I can just look at the guide. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what's interesting about this is that we get like the details to preserve, but the seams are more obvious. So maybe what we do is we just massage the seams out and it will still look good. This might be an opportunity. And here it's really obvious, but I don't think it needs to be as obvious everywhere else. And I get to keep all my decisions, my pixel decisions. I think we nailed it. Yeah, that's fine. We can still see some of these. We can still see the line, but we can remove the line by just focusing on where we see it and then addressing those edges. That's actually so good. I'm going to use this technique all the time. I'm going to totally abuse this. Wow. I couldn't have done that better myself. Even if I hand drew it, it might not be as good. That's great. I'm going to keep that. Yeah, I mean, that only took like a minute. It took a couple of minutes to do that. What a hack. I'll make a video about it on YouTube. Never draw slopes again. I wonder, I don't think Carbs' thing works like this. I think it only does every pixel. Let's have a look. Carbs, A Sprite, Slope, Tools. Come on, Lazy Guru. What do you mean? What are you talking about? How dare you ask that question? I haven't remade. I have not replaced the chapter 1 grass. I've only done it like once. So, here's the slope. Yeah, it just kind of does it. It just goes every pixel, it drops it down by 1. This is demo prep. It's new grass for the demo. That's the whole point. No? Should it not be? prepping for the demo. Hey, Dialglex. That would be totally fine. Yeah, for sure. As long as you don't bring a gun, you can say hi. You're most welcome. Don't John Lennon me, but yes. Like this grass, it's like I did this grass in like 2017, you guys. Maybe 2018. And it took so long to do. This grass is taking me, it's fine. This could be it. I could be finished. I could just leave it right here, I think. It probably won't be the last I do of this. But for what I need it to be, which is just like the floor of the home and neighborhood scenes, and as you're walking through Orenstead, that's it. I'm pretty much done. Okay? It took me only a little bit of time. It didn't take that long. It's been an afternoon. I think it's very worth it. I think I've become a very, very good developer who does very, very good work. And I'm not bad. And I'm not obsessive. I'm just a good boy. How dare you? How dare you call me a bad boy? All right. How dare you criticize me? All right. This is looking good. I'm so happy with this little technique though. It might not work as well for slopes that are a little more diagonal. Maybe it only works for the slighter gradients. Badham. Oh no. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. I think it's justified to spend an afternoon. What is the charge? Enjoying a tile set? A verdant grassy tile set? This is Democracy Manifest. Ah, yes. I see you know your Ace Sprite well. Oh, fellow scholars of the internet. This is what we're here for. That's what I really stream for. It's just so I can have some friends that get my jokes. It's just being able to reference anything and have people know it. Oh my god. Adam, press the button. There it is. Okay. Cool. For now, that shall do nicely. That was super easy to put together. I have never done that so quickly. I have never put together a tile set this quickly. Not even close. Not even close to close. That was like blitzing. Oh, you might have seen my work on the Ace Sprite trailer. The new method is I just, especially for slopes that are like this, if they're noisy tile sets, okay, here's the rule. If it's a noisy tile set and you're doing the 2x1 slopes, not the 1x1, you can just grab every half tile, like every 8 pixels, and shift it by the amount. So you're quantizing it. Right? Rather than shifting every pixel 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, you're grabbing 4 pixels and moving them 2 and the next 4. Or no, in this case, I was moving 8 pixels 4 and then the next 8, moving them up another 4, moving the next 8 up another 4. So it's still 2/1 on the X versus Y, but you're preserving a lot of these little details, right? So what you get are these like seams. You can see them here, like vertical lines that drive through, and you just need to fix the lines. The problem is if you have something that's more digital, right? Let's just say your tile set was literally like this, and then this. Doing that system for this won't work because you're just going to end up with a bunch of this, right? It's not going to look good. It's only if it's noisy enough for this stuff not to matter. So grass has already got quite a diverse edge, right? Like it's already undulating and it's all choppy. So just dropping down half of a tile every so often, you don't even notice it. And you get to keep all your details. That's the beauty of it. So I did just do it here, and it's not bad. You can still see I've got a little bit of work cut out for me. I can, not like that, but I can, massage some of these things back and just heal the errors, and it will be fine. It'll work. Like already that's starting to look good, and I can come over here with this, and that fixes that. You just have to be a bit more careful about it. But, that totally works now. Like the amount of rework I've had to do was, 5 to 10 minutes of playing with it rather than redrawing it from scratch over an hour and a half. And these are much bigger tile sets than I'm used to. You know, these are double size. And yet, you know, you still get really nice tiles in half the time. More than half, less than half the time. Okay, so I'm not really going to use these for, I don't think I'm going to use these yet. I don't have walls and I don't have the underside, right? So there's still obviously a lot of work to do, potentially. But the point is, this is supposed to be for like the floor of the levels where it's just a floor. There is no platforming. That's what I'm using these for right now. You know what? I'm going to keep them exactly where they are. I'm not going to touch any of this. Maybe... Nah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Zoop. Okay. Maybe we don't need to be quite so tall. Maybe like... Let's just call it like... right there. That's good enough. The original grass was like... I couldn't tell you how long it took me to draw. I was playing with this tile set, this grass... days. I'm sure it was days. And there are like different versions of it, or I do different things and I try to make it... I tried so many different things with it. Like, look at, what are these shapes, man? What is this? Look at all the different shapes I've got going on. Like, oh, what if I have a single slope coming off of an edge? I need to do that for every possible direction. Like, I just don't need these standards anymore, and they don't do much. I mean, like, this isn't the same palette, so it's not really going to look right. Like, this color would need to be replaced with this color. But it just isn't, like... I don't know. Yeah, like this tile set was so long ago that my standard for how I do tile sets wasn't set yet. And it's not like terrible. It's not bad, but I was doing this in this is 2017, 2018 stuff. This is like this was the like one of the first Clinkers redemptions we ever did. This, think about how old this meme is. That's how old this tile set is. I put on my Robin Wizard hat. Skeleton dude, yeah. Exactly. All right. Do I go up one? That's a little high for my liking. Hey, Universal. Thank you so much, brother. Dude. Yeah, when was that file created? That would be a good check. It's just the most recent. It doesn't know how old it really is. Shame. Seamus. All right. Well, I'm just going to export this now and make a new tile set in tiled of it. Okay. 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 File new tile set. Or instead. I think I'm just calling it Oranstead tile set 2. Now, how to find sprites tile sets? World tiles? Is that where I saved it? I think that's what I'm talking about. At 32 by 32. Save. Oh my gosh. I pressed F2. All right. Nice. New map. And this is going to be called... it's not tile sets anymore. It's tile map. Tiled levels. Insignia tiles. Nope. Tile maps. I'm going to call this like Oranstead 2. This is called Oranstead Rules 2. I probably don't need to be doing the prototype tiles for this. I probably don't even need the rule sets at all. I could just copy paste them, but I'll do it. I'll do it. Okay. So like this is like, get off here. This is in prototype. I think it's input. 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 And then output ground. Oh, I need to give it physics as well. I'll get to it eventually. Wow, that's an Amanda Show joke. Is that from like, is that 20 years ago? I'll get to it eventually. Got any Amanda Show fans in here? What is happening? Why is it not giving me... Oh, well, that would be a reason why. Accept redemptions. Hello. Sorry. I can't see it. I can't see it. Hulk Hogan? I'm listening. You want Hulk Hogan? Is that what we got? Please confirm. No, I don't really have a Hulk Hogan. I'm going to guess.
From what I understand, Hulk Hogan's got a Californian accent, brother. He talks like this. You think you can just come in here and tell me how to draw? These pixels will get up in your face.
Less enunciation.
Tear you up and down the ring. Can you handle the power? Power? Can you handle the power of the prototype grass tile set?
It's a little Texan. Hang on.
California, dude. Dude. Brother.
Doesn't he have a bit more of a bit Montana or Wyoming?
He talks like this, doesn't he? Is it Southern? I don't really know. Did he say talks or did he say talks? Brother?
Because, like, if you think of... Hang on a second. California's like... No, it's not. What the heck? I've forgotten what California sounds like? Dude. Like, totally.
Like totally, dude.
It's kind of getting... It's a bit southern, right? For sure.
For sure, brother. Heading on down to the... Get these White Claws in you, brother.
No, I don't know. I guess they're similar when you think about it.
Brother?
They're very similar. Do you know that the intersection is Matthew McConaughey? Because he's like a surfer dude. But it's also like Austin, Texas. You know?
I never really thought about my life until right now. I don't know where I'm from. And I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm catching waves, but it's not right. They're sand dunes.
Yeah, I guess I told you I didn't have a Hulk Hogan. It's just a grovelly American accent. Is he from Florida? Well, that would make sense. I don't know where he's from. I guess the bandana caught me off guard and the muscle tee. Florida's like this. This is Florida. Like Tiger King. That's Floridian. Name is Gator Country. Does Australia have regional accents? Sort of, but they're more in the city. The same way that like New York has like a bunch of accents. That's how Australia has them. It's not like the West or the East or the South. It's more like Sydney and the districts inside of Sydney, or Melbourne and the districts inside of Melbourne, and then everywhere else kind of thing. Brisbane, the places around Brisbane. Those all have different accents.
But that's not what you came for. You guys came for Hulk Hogan. That's what you got. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm Hulk Hogan.
Brother darling.
Do I live in Australia? I do. I do live in Australia. From the Muppet Show? Waka waka. Is that what he says? Waka waka? I wouldn't even know. Is it true about the spiders? Oh, far out. It's so true. Aussie, I mean, I can just do it. I can show you the Aussie accents. So, all right. Let me get this going. Hang on 1 second. Where should I put this tile? I guess I'll just put it here. One sec. I just want to make sure I didn't break anything. Okay. So, let me give you some accents just around Sydney. I am on Twitch, unfortunately. I'm on both. So, if you're watching the stream and you can't see anything that I'm saying in chat, or anything you're saying in chat, that's because it's the Twitch stream. And that's just the way it has to be, unfortunately, with Twitch. It's their terms of service. They forced me to do it this way. Okay. So, regional accents around Sydney. That's fun. Sydney, what you're hearing now, this is the metropolitan Sydney accent. Okay, most people from, I would say, north of, you know what, we're going to need a map for this. Okay. This is important. Everyone, pay attention. We're going to go to school. Oh, I have to sign in. Oh. 1 second. There. It is very subtle. That's because I'm from Sydney. It's not like super Australian. Do I look like clearer right now in this camera on my laptop? Why does it seem much clearer than it normally is? Maybe that was just the browser, the white browser bouncing off my face. All right, here we go. Look at this. All right. Welcome to Sydney, Australia. Sydney, Australia is broken up. Oh, it's not a great map, but there are kinds of two ways to think about Sydney. Okay, this is the CBD. This looks garbage, man. What the heck is this nonsense map? Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't care that much. Doesn't matter. All right, this is Sydney. You can think of it as like a bunch of different ways, but it's typically in like slices, okay? So you have, this is like what you would call the North Shore, okay? That's the North Shore. This is kind of like south, or like the Shire, right? Most of like this area. This is the city. This is eastern suburbs. I'm not doing a great job of this. So this is like the city. This you call the inner west. This is southwest Sydney, and this is northwest Sydney. And then in general, this is just western Sydney. Okay? You will note there is one specific road that cuts Sydney's north and south. This is called Parramatta Road, or the Great Western Highway. I don't, depends on what you want to... It's different things in different ways. Or, no, Western Motorway, Great Western Highway, same difference. Okay. So, I am from like this area of Sydney. Okay, this is northwestern Sydney, and most people from this area talk like this. People from this area also talk like this. Basically, everybody probably there, everyone in this area pretty much talks like this. And most people, you know, inner west, northwest, even North Shore, kind of like, this is how we talk. But the more west you go, because Sydney is a coastal city and all the nice property is here, the further west you go, socioeconomically, the more likely you are to be from a migrant family. So my family are, I'm like a second generation Australian. So like my background is Lebanese. And in the West, so like broadly the West, there is what is called the Western Sydney accent. But also you kind of hear it in the Southwest as well. You hear it kind of over here too. If you're living in a more industrial area or just lower socioeconomic area, and that accent sounds like this, okay? This is how we talk in Western Sydney, all right? If you're Lebanese or Croatian, or if your family's from like Vietnam, you're Vietnamese, you end up talking like this to some capacity, okay? That's the Western Sydney accent. All of my cousins talk like that. How are ya? How you going? I'm Adam. How are you? That's Western Sydney. Okay? The thing that makes that sound like that is this line here. Basically, everything north of this road, this is Parramatta Road, this is like, they call it the Red Rooster line, because there is a chain of rotisserie chicken called Red Rooster that only has shops in this part, and they don't sell them, they don't have them here, because most people up on this side are pretty well off, and most of the industrial district is down in this area. So like, if you went to a private school, the private school was probably up here. So if you live out here, it's, that's just how it is. So that accent starts here in Parramatta and goes south for the most part. But, people who, like a lot of my family are from down here, and they kind of like moved up in life because Australia is a land of opportunity. And so a lot of people who live around here still speak a bit like that. Okay. So that's Western Sydney and Metropolitan Sydney. This is Metropolitan Sydney. This is Western Sydney. As you go further east towards Manly, like the beaches, if you live in the eastern suburbs, what you find is a way of talking that's kind of like the Australian version of like California. Hey, it's like way more laid back. It's more beachy. It's, if you listen to like youth radio, like this is how they talk, right? It's kind of like more Cali, right? Maybe a little bit of like vocal fry as well. That's how people talk over here. Okay. It's, yeah. That's, if you live near the beach, you talk like that. Like, oh my God, like, it's a bit, not maybe even a little bit valley, you know? So, it's, you might say heaps instead of heaps. You might say, like, anyway, that's eastern suburbs, right? It's so chill and really cool. Then, there's like specifically an accent if you are a middle-aged woman who lives specifically in this area, like Des Moines. If you're like an upper middle class woman who lives in this area, you talk like this. You send your children to private school, you say darling. All of the words that end in T-I-O-N, you pronounce them shin. Okay? So you'll say, there was, I can't even believe the devastation that I saw on the streets on Black Friday. People were absolutely crazy. That's how older people who are well off speak, who are from this kind of area. But mostly just the women. Okay? Women and school teachers. What else? What else? You get a bit more of that Western Sydney sound around here as well. Inner West is a bit more like, so there's a lot of like universities right around here, like the University of New South Wales, University of Sydney, UTS, and even like further out you might find Macquarie University. And for some reason, like people who are quite academic in Sydney who live in the inner west end up talking like this. It's just like a way that they talk. It's like quite a know-it-all bookie accent. And it's just the way that you talk if you're from there. You know, you've been working on your PhD for like 5 years. It also shares a lot in common with the Melbourne accent. That's just how people talk in, not all the time, not everyone in the inner west. But there's just something about if you just, you know, particularly if you are like a bit of a hedge fund kid, not hedge fund, what do they call it? Hedge fund? You know, your parents are quite well off and you've moved into an area that's becoming more gentrified. This is kind of like how you talk. Trust fund, not hedge fund. Trust fund kid. That's the word. So, every girl in the club at 3 a.m. It's a bit more nasal and a bit more controlling. It's not as like beachy as like the eastern suburbs, but that's just the way that some people talk. Gifted children who decided that they, you know, wanted to make something of themselves by getting a degree in social sciences. So that's most of Sydney. If you live in the city, that's a different thing. Yeah, there's a lot. It's a melting pot, so everyone talks differently in the city. And then finally, you might hear, "Oh, I haven't done Bogan yet. We're gonna get there. That's out further. That's Penrith." Okay, there's 2 more accents. The next one is if you're on TV in Sydney. Okay, if you're a TV personality in Sydney, you find yourself talking like this. This is the news anchor accent of Sydney, or mostly Australia generally. The words are far more enunciated, and there's a kind of depth that everyone speaks in. All the women speak at this depth. All the men speak at this depth. It's designed to be listened to. That's the TV accent. Particularly news, current affairs, 60 Minutes. That's what you hear. All right, now, finally, you got your like Bogan accent, okay? And the more poor you are, you might talk, it might be a bit more slurred. There's something of a meme around that. So it's more, it's nasal, and it's pretty bloody annoying to listen to a lot of the time. Now, there's a road. There's a road right around here, the M7. A lot of the auto dealerships, bloody factories, if you work in heavy machinery, starts like around here. Alright? There's a specific way that we talk, and it's in the way that it's in the way that you pronounce the days of the week. So instead of saying Monday, you say Monday. Instead of saying Sunday, you say Sunday. Right? You might start saying phrases like "should be right," "bloody oath." That all bloody starts right around like here. That's Western Sydney. That's like Bogan, Westy accent, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Particularly if you work in bloody trades. So if you're a sparky, that's an electrician. If you're a chippy, that's like a carpenter. If you're what do they call plumbers? I forget what they call plumbers. If you're a builder, you're a brickie. Right? And even if you don't live in that area, you end up talking like this anyway. Because bloody all the tradies talk like that. Not all of them, but it's a meme. It's just it's a way a lot of people talk. It's particularly if you're older. If you're younger, you don't really talk like that. Like I've got my wife's sister, her boyfriend is a carpenter. He doesn't sound like that. He sounds more like this. It's kind of, but we're from the same area, he and I, so. Commodore, buddy Holden, buddy driving a Ford, V8s. Have you guys seen that Stray Day video? Stray Day. You prick. So that's you're more likely to hear that out in Penrith. Out this way. So that's just Sydney. That's literally just Sydney. And that's what, 7, 8 accents? People say that there are only 3 Australian accents. They're totally wrong. They have no idea. And there are more accents that are regional and have ethnic basis, even in Sydney, that I don't feel that comfortable repeating here today. But like if you live in Cabramatta, there's probably an accent that you have that I wouldn't copy. But started out as whole. Yeah, Melbourne has this thing where they say Melbourne. They say milk. No, they say milk instead of milk. And they say Melbourne instead of Melbourne. Melbourne. Whereas, I mean, Queensland's a bit different wherever you go. Queensland's above New South Wales. Crocodile Dundee, I mean, oh, that's the other thing I didn't say. There is an accent in Australia that everybody above 50 has. Right? People who talk in an Australian accent who are older than 50 talk differently to people who are younger than 50. A different accent. So they might say today instead of today. Right? It's kind of got a more English influence to it. So instead of saying, I would say, I wouldn't do it, but they would say, I wouldn't do it. You know, I wouldn't. I don't think so. I might say, that's sad. I'd say, that's sad. You know, there's just like a sort of a poshness almost to it that not everyone talks like, but mostly women I would hear talking like that. Yeah, and a lot of, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, that's right. Like Paul Hogan. We started with Hulk Hogan. Paul Hogan, who's Crocodile Dundee, he talks like this. Right? Coming out, I'll throw a shrimp on the barbie for you. Uncle, it's more sort of thrown out. There's a weirdness to it. It's, you know. Oh, she'll be right. Right? Instead of right, it's right. Hey, how you going? That's not a knife. That's a knife. Instead of knife, it's not knife. It's a bit more today instead of today. Hey, we'll throw a shrimp on the barbie for you. Come in and have a beer. Have a swim in the beach. Welcome to Australia. That's how people who are older than 60 talk. Good eye, mate. Yeah, no, it's quite rare if you're younger to talk like that. But, you know, that's the way people talk here in Australia. You bloody ripper. Darcy Coates. I don't know Darcy Coates. Roy and HG. Yeah. There's it's a funny thing. I mean, accents are they're fascinating. And they do change. They've been changing all the time. Australian has become so much more American. Even my accent, even the way I pronounce words has become more American, I think. Especially since I started streaming. Just noticed it, you know. Oh no, I did it wrong. I gotta shift that down by... did I do it wrong? Oh, I did something wrong. No, I think it's this one's... Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I think this one's got to go down 4 pixels. This one's going to come up 4. Which one did I say was which? Oh gosh. Okay, well this has to come down a whole 1 and then go up. I think I chopped off a bunch of stuff there. Damn it. No. Oh my god. What? What? Down. It's almost, I think that the Australian one, the older one, I think it's almost a bit inspired by, it's almost a bit Princess Diana. I don't know if that's a real thing or if I'm just making that up, but it has a kind of like, I think it's just, maybe it's just the BBC's influence on Australian media in the early 20th century or mid 20th century. It's just a different kind of way of talking that's very British. It's almost even like got a transatlantic thing going on in it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's just how we talk here. Yeah, it's almost like a trans Indian Ocean accent. Like, what do you even call that? How do you, from Australia to the UK? It's like you got to go over the Indian Ocean to get there. Trans-hemispheric. Of course. That's the way we talk here. I don't like it at all. At all. Not at all. Now, that doesn't seem quite right either. I feel like this needs to come down another 4 pixels. Trans-Pacific. Yeah, it's a little, I mean, the BBC stuff, it's almost more obviously trying to do that American English thing at the same time. Like, here we are. Welcome. That's trying to appeal, I think, to American audiences. Like, welcome. Welcome. Well, sure. You know, it becomes a little more, well, sure. Well, sure, darling. Why don't you pour yourself a drink? Have a sit down. Why don't you pour yourself a drink and have a sit down? But Australians did talk like that on the television as well. On the television. Here's a chap sitting in a bar, you know? It's got to come down even further. How did I do this? How do you like it? I don't know. Well, just get on with it. More. How many more pixels do we want? 8, maybe? That's appropriate now. That's good. Much better. Walk masks. Well, the collision data tells me where the player is going to walk on. So you can see here, that's going to define where the collision is. But I have to bake it. I have to bake it in. It's not quite right yet. Like the colliders don't exist yet. They're just. It's just make believe. It's what I intend for them to be. It's what I intend for them to be. Okay. Yo, if anybody redeems an accent or redeems anything, please let me know, because I can't see the activity, unfortunately. I'm thinking I might make some food for my wife. She finishes her tutorial at 8. I think I could make her a stir fry. Either it's going to be a stir fry or it's going to be a Japanese curry. Japanese curry is easy and I know how to do it. I did spaghetti bolognese already this week. The stir fry we both wanted, well, we wanted to eat it. What uni? I'm not gonna dox my wife. What accent? Does she speak in? Oh no, I made a mistake with the name of this. Probably should call it Orenstead 2 rules. Much better. And then I need a rules.txt file. So new folder, rules, rules. Put this in that. Close that, and then have a file called rules.txt, and then a second thing called Orenstead2 rules2. Now these are going to break immediately until I locate the file. Gosh. Continue tile levels, sprites, tile sets. Insignia, assets, tile levels. Insignia tiles, tile maps, or instead 2. Looking for, oh goodness. Oh, where is that file gone? Uh-oh. Where do you live? Okay. And then prototype. Oh. Order Domino's? We had Domino's last night. We literally ate Domino's last night. How do you know that? It's not good. Domino's sucks, man. I regret ordering it. Okay, how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and not the 8th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Boom. Winnie Blues and Domino's Pizza. That's some Western Sydney. That's a Western Sydney dinner. So like masks is not really how a platform, well, the idea of a mask is not something that I deal with when I work in my game. Bogan Prime.
Bogan Prime. We are the Autobots. The Aussie bots. And all we do is punch dots. If you're out there, bloody meet me by the arm. Meet me behind bloody Macca's, mate. Saturday night. Aussie bots, I can roll out.
Okay, so this should kind of work now, hopefully. New map. Yep. Save this bad boy in Oranstead 2 and call it Thank you so much for the follows. Thanks, Bobeto? Collectivity, thank you so much. All the Autobots are like HR Holdens and like a Tirana, like a Datsun. But then all the new ones, all the Decepticons are like the American replacements for our Utes, all the Dodge Chargers and the Rams and the not Dodge Charger, the Ram and the F-150 and Optimus Dave. Optimus Prime might be a Toyota Hilux. Go. I don't think it happened. No rules file found at Orenstead2 rules.txt. I'm pretty sure there is. Oh, I didn't put anything in the rules.txt. Go. Oh, we got something. What is happening here? Oh, I don't have delete tiles set. Boom. Yay. No, is it the exact same tile over and over again? It is. I failed. How did I fail? Why did I fail? Were these exported tiles from Sprite? No. Well, yes, I exported this from Sprite as a PNG. Can't you just randomize the top layer? Yeah, I'm doing that. But you got to give it a sec. It's not randomizing, that's why. Let me clear this and then run it and just see if it works. Is this saved? This should be working. I mean, it finds that, so it replaces that. I think there's another map property that I need to figure out. It might be match in order as well for this one. Hey, there we go. So that does a nice non-repeating pattern, or as little repeating as possible. Is it Control G? Yeah, there you go. So that's looking pretty schmick. Looks good. Let's edit this now to put some collisions in here. That was almost like a Tim Allen looks good. Looks good? So that's our collisions. Whew. Now let's see Paul Allen's tile set. The tasteful cleanliness of it. Look at those blades of grass. It's not outdated. You can still watch that one. They, I think I might have forced the tiled devs to make it backwards compatible with the previous version, because so many people watched my video and couldn't get it working when they changed it to a new version that they made it backwards compatible. So for a while, some of the things in the video were incorrect, and then they made them correct by changing it. I'd actually taken that first video offline for like 8 months, and then I realized that in the most recent updates, they made it so that by default, it works the way that my video tells people how to do it. So that's how people do it now. I don't know. Someone commented in the things like, hey, I'm from like the forums or whatever, the support forums, and it's been really annoying having to tell people not to do it this way because we no longer do it this way. I was like, okay, I feel bad. So I should just be able to draw. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Boom. I should just be able to draw some pink things, and then it becomes, yay! That looks great. That's amazing. Lovely. So now, the thing that would be really sweet, like really cool. No, these are too big. It won't work. That's a shame. This is 16 by 16, so if I was to use this tile set, because what you could do comparing to that scene, or how you call it, it looks a lot more alive than the game test you shown. Looks more empty, the background, and feels more like an old Mario game. Is it planned to have those kind of background and more things for all the levels? You mean this? Compared to the test levels? Compared to like this? Or this? Well, this doesn't represent like a part of the game. So this is supposed to be, you know, not supposed to be, but if this is like more empty, like that's okay. Although this is pretty busy. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Maybe this one's kind of a better example of one that doesn't look so bad, but yeah, like I am working on making it look less generic. I mean, you might have seen this. This is kind of a bit more simple, but it's because there are different parts of the game that have different levels of story significance. So like, if I'm just doing like a zone, like, oh, I just need like a foresty area to put some enemies in between these two places, that's going to look more like this, you know? Whereas if it's like, okay, I'm drawing like a town or like someone's house, like that's going to look more, it's going to have more bespoke graphics. You know, more stuff that feels like it's made for that area because there's more things to put in the area. So I would really like to Neighborhood. This is giant, man. Look at this thing. How many tiles is this? $256 tiles? Oh my gosh. So it only have to be 128 of the new ones. I'm using Unity at the moment. Ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, bum-bum-bum. Oh no. It's a Boolean. Okay. That's not what it is. Oh, I got it. Nice. Cool. Uh-oh. Whoa! Way! Hey, Queston. Speedrun strats. Thank you so much, CG. I did make scene graph, yeah. Okay. Please work. Yay. Oh, that looks like a billion times better, man. Doesn't that look so nice compared to what it was before? Wow. Oh man, that's just really pretty to look at. I'm into that. We can fix the house a little bit. I think we just need to bring the tile set up a little bit more. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Glooms. The colors are a little off with those foreground plants and stuff. But, I mean, wow. The ground just looks so much more, like there's so much more variety and interest in it. I can look at it and see things. I'm not just looking at noise anymore. Does the shadow under the character change? It changes if you jump. It doesn't change in terms of like, it goes up the slopes. It shouldn't do that, but it's doing that right now. So it'll follow the slopes. And it shrinks if you jump. But other than that, that's all it does. Yeah, this grass will need a bit of a change. These, I'm going to make these ferns look really nice. It's not going to take long. It does look really lush. Do you think it should look more varied in how lush it is? I quite like it, man. With the house, it's got something that it's quite almost magical. It looks so yummy. Eh? What the heck? Did I do something wrong? That is very, very weird. I don't know what that is. But if I do it by hand, nope. What the heck? I can't tell the difference. It only works the first time you do it? Huh. Oh, that's why. Well, that'll do it. Boom. I fixed it. I'll get some dirt in those. I will do it. Ba-dum, 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 bum-bum. Doesn't that just look so much goddamn better? Holy shit. Oh my god. That's like a billion times better to me. Wow. Compared to what it was? Compared to this? Look at the difference. One that's looks like dots. My gosh. The recipe. Okay, we will fix that. See, and I get to do all of this because I'm the boss. Oh shit, it's 6:26. All right, I gotta go. Yeah, I mean maybe as like moss or something, but like I don't know. I just feel like it's way better now. And I could do, man, I won't update the town, but oh, you better believe I could. You better believe I could make this town look so good. So much character. But no, we're not for now, unfortunately. No. No. That's not who I am, you guys. Whoops. Okay. I even like the little deviations in the rocks here. Even that's cool to look at. But I want these pictures to be behind it. And I almost think that I want it to be lit up. So I could put it on middle ground 1, -3. And I could put the slides on middle ground 1, 0. Then you get something like this. I think that's better. Oh, I did a good job, man. I did a good job of this. There's more that could be done as well, but for now at least, for the demo, I don't think I need to do much more. There'll be a little bit of recoloring, stuff like this, and even redetailing. Like some of this detail, it's too much and it does nothing, you know? Like it's a lot and it's not a lot. Like I was so fixated on assets being little things that just live in isolation, and I never thought about them in the scenes that they lived in. So like this grass with this little like plant thing, that could have been something that didn't just define a plant, but the things around the plant. You know, like some stray bits of grass coming here, like little smaller ferns, or like just like other aspects of the thing, so that it fits as like a standalone thing. Like with these rocks are not bad, where it's kind of like I've got some rocks, there's like 2 or 3 in a cluster and some grass. That's kind of closer to what I would do today. But yeah. Oh, butterflies would be so cute. I haven't thought about putting butterflies in the game. I've got the birds. Those little birds are really cute. Whew. So here you can see I actually had cobblestone, but look how much more noisy it is. It's just not, it's not the same. This is just like, you just get better at stuff, you know? You just get better at it. It's a little too grassy, I think. It's good when it's stone. I need to make it a bit more stony in the middle and grassy on the outside. This, I got so lucky with this that it's sort of doing just little tufts. I did not anticipate it would do that. See, that's looking really nice. It's a bit overgrown. Maybe it shouldn't be quite so much. Could fix that. But I gotta go, pals. I really do. Thanks for checking out the stream today, and thank you so much for your patience with all my internet issues. I'm really sorry. Not my internet, my streaming setup issues. PC woes, if you will. I'm going to try my hardest to resolve all that stuff. I might go to my parents' house tonight and pick up the GPU from my brother. I wonder if I could duplicate it and lift it up and then put it on like a way lower layer. Huh. It looks a lot deeper now. But now we're running on it. I'd have to turn off the collisions. It's not great, but maybe there's something to it. Hey, so it's not Leonardo that you're thinking of, it's Figma. F-I-G-M-A. Hey Swizz, did you just get in? You want to see something? One second. Check this out. How's that looking? The grass? I think it's a winner. I think the grass is looking a lot better. I know, I'm in the way. I'm in the way of it. Let me see if I can get rid of myself. I can just do this. Isn't that nice, man? Isn't that so nice? These things I need to get rid of and fix. They're all the old color scheme. But like, look at the rocks and the leaves and the depth, the forward depth. Much better. And compare that to where it was. Look at this. Come on now. Can't say that wasn't worth it. For like a couple hours work. Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah. It's look, I'm really proud with where things are going, and it doesn't take long for me to do this stuff these days. Like this was a a couple hours at most, and the way that I approach this stuff, it's much more scalable too. Like I can make variations on this a lot faster than I used to be able to. So, I'll use this grass, everywhere where I need it. And I'll use these rocks where I need them. And if I want more variations of the rocks, I can do that super simply. It's not a problem. And if I want it to be more yellow, I can make it more. Yeah, it's fine. And I think I'm still going to use the other tile set. Anyway, this has been a long stream. Well, it hasn't been that long, but it's been long given the fact that I had to restart it 6 times because of the computer crashing. Pals, thank you so much. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'm going to try my best to have the stream in working order. So, sorry, and thank you for your patience. No raids today. That's the stream. As always, I've been Adam. You've been the Pixel Pals. This has been the Indie Tales Game Dev live stream. Until next time.